All right, so this is 7-8, the last section. We have a chapter test on Friday. Your practice test is due Thursday. So, when you go to graph a line and slope-intercept, you need to identify your slope and y-intercept first. So in this case, and this is every time you graph and slope-intercept, you must label and identify the slope, which is m equals 1/2, and b is -3. Okay, and then we start at the beginning by plotting our -3 on the y-axis. That's the beginning, our y-intercept. It's okay. And now, what are we going to do, Rogelio?
Rise 1 and run 2.
Rise 1, run 2.
Or we can rise -1 and run.
How about another one? Rise 1, run 2. And what would you say? Otherwise, we can do what?
We can rise, it's -1 and run -2.
Good. -1, -2. And we draw the line. Next, what do I need to do for the next one when I'm graphing it, please? Christina? Wait, we don't put. We, step 1, have to identify. So what am I identifying? M is what? 1/2. So what step is that called? Identify what? And the, so identifying the slope and the y-intercept. Okay, next step, Christina? -1, where? Not at the x. Where are we plotting -1? How about Lucy?
On the y-axis.
On the y-axis. We always start on the y-axis. And then what am I going to do, Christina? Good. Rise 1, run 2. Or I can go -1, left 2. Down 1, left 2. What do we notice about these lines? Jason?
That they're like going up by 2.
Okay. There's a name for it. Kiana?
Parallel.
These lines are parallel. So what in the equations do you think does that? What in the equations? Sydney?
They both have the same slope.
They have the same slope. Parallel lines have the same slope. That's the rule. Next. Write the equation. Okay, can I move on?
Yeah.
Okay. Now it says, but the way they're going to put this to you on a test in the homework is they're going to say, write the equation of the line in slope-intercept form that is parallel to y equals -2x minus 9 and contains 4, -3. Now, what I want you to do is what this mom taught me to do. Another mom taught me to do this. Her son is a phenomenal student. And she said, I don't work on the math with them. I work on the directions. So what are the things I need to do in these directions? How about Armando?
Write the equation.
I got to write the equation. How?
In slope-intercept line.
So it has to be in slope-intercept. And what else?
That contains 4 and -3.
Okay, something else? That's very important here.
The y equals, that's parallel to.
I need parallel. Parallel means same slope. So now I've got, I need it in slope-intercept, I need it to be parallel, same slope, and I need to use that point. Okay, that's the important stuff. You can highlight it, you can underline it, okay? So in y equals negative 2x minus 9, what am I doing? Ben,
Wait, so do you graph it, or?
does it say graph?
Yeah, use the slope point equation to find, oh no, substitute in y and x. Yeah. No?
I'm confused. What? Clarify?
Do you substitute in the 4 and negative 3 for y and x?
No, not yet.
Okay.
What do I need to have a parallel line, Ziomara?
You identify the slope and
Do I need to identify the y-intercept here? What do I need to make a line parallel? Yes,
The slope has to be the same.
the slope. So all I need out of this line is what?
Slope.
Slope. So what is my slope?
Negative 2.
Right? So m is negative 2. I'm going to go to the PowerPoint notes. Now, what do? I know the slope. I have a point. Paul, what you think? I have a point, and I have the slope. Peyton?
You can write an equation and point slope.
Point slope. What is that equation, please? That formula, not equation, it's a formula. Lucy.
Y minus y1 equals m open parentheses x
Times the quantity.
times the quantity of x minus x1.
Okay. So now what would I need to do, Brianna?
The equation would be y minus -3, y plus 3 equals,
Y minus negative 3. I like that better.
okay, y minus -3 equals -2, open parentheses, x minus 4.
Perfect. Now the reason why I like this is we're starting to make a lot of careless errors with negatives. They're not careless. We're not writing down everything we need. The more you write, the more you will find those errors. Okay? Oscar, how do I simplify this?
It will be y plus 3 equals negative 2x plus 8.
Perfect.
And then
Okay.
we'll subtract the 3
Good.
from both sides of the equation. So then it will be y equals negative 2x plus 5.
Perfect. Are we at the end? What else do we have to do? Let's go back to the directions and read. Did we write the equation? Is it in slope-intercept form? Is it parallel to this line?
Yes, they have the same slope.
Yes.
Yes, they are, because they have the same slope. Did I use this point to get it?
Yes.
So I've done everything I need to. I'm done. Okay. Questions? I saw that. I thought it was a hand up. Okay. This time, what am I doing? What does the question ask? What am I underlining to make sure I do?
First,
Yes.
you have to find the equation and once it's
Okay, so okay, equation. What else?
and standard form,
Good.
and then parallel,
Uh-huh.
and then the 2 points.
Okay, this and the point. Okay. Can I what's the slope here in 3x minus 5y equals 10? Sarkis.
It's 3.
No. This was a mistake that was made on the quiz. So, I can't identify the slope until it's in slope-intercept form. So I'm going to have to temporarily take it out of standard form, put it into slope-intercept so I can identify the slope. Now, slope-intercept means that it has what? Slope-intercept means Let's go, Luke.
It has y alone.
Y is alone. So, Iman, how do I get the y alone? Subtract 3x. Next step. This is an important one when a lot of people were making mistakes. Will?
Divide by -5 on both sides.
Okay, this is it where people, and I made this mistake today. I don't like to write it like this. Instead of divide by -5 on both sides, I divide all terms by -5. Because look what I did this morning. Oops. I did this. Oops, 10 over 5, sorry. Okay, what did I do wrong here? Sorry, kids?
You forgot the x.
Oh, yeah, besides that, sorry. That wasn't the mistake that you guys are making. That was a mistake, actually, that some people made, but not a majority. Michelle?
On one of them, you multiplied it, divided by +5.
Yeah, I forgot the negative. I only took the negative on one of them. So, another thing that happened is some kids did this. So what am I doing wrong there? Rosanna?
You're not dividing all terms by -5, you're only dividing...
What, yeah, just the two terms, the y term and the x term. So instead of writing it like this, here's what I do. When I'm in this situation, I just divide all terms by -5. Then I don't forget my negative because I'm doing it to all terms. And now I can see I'm left with y equals -3 over -5 is positive 3/5 x plus 2. Oh, minus 2. The more I write, the more we can catch. Okay, so that's the first step. Now, what do I pull out of that? What am I pulling out of that? I'm in the slope, which is 3 over 5. Okay, I'm going to go back to my PowerPoint because it's just going to have more room. So my slope is 3/5. So what do I need to do to write the new equation? Let's go with Luke. We could do point slope or we could do slope intercept. Okay, you want to use point slope? Do you want to try the other one? Point slope. I think this one's in slope intercept, so let's give both a shot so we're reminded how we do it. Yes.
Doesn't it ask for the equation each time?
It doesn't matter. Whether I do it in slope intercept or point slope, I'm still going to have to manipulate it in the end. All right, so let's go with, I guess, with here. So that, and I'm going to use this point, and they're using the y equals mx plus b. So what would I do with that? So Luke, where would I begin with that?
I'm going to plug in the y and the x, so it would be 6 equals 3/5 times the quantity and -2 plus b.
Good. And then I simplify -6 over 5. And so what does that become? What does that become? What do I need to do to get that b alone? Michael?
Well, first, I think you're gonna multiply 3/5 times -2.
I did that. We're here.
Oh. Oh.
Right? And I got negative 6/5.
Yeah, to get B1, you would. Oh, I don't know what to do today.
Lucy?
Would you make -6/5 a mixed number?
An improper number. Negative 6/5, no. No. I would make, yes.
You'd subtract it.
Okay, close. Nora?
You'd add 6/5 to the other side.
I'd add 6/5 to both sides. But before I can do that, I need to manipulate my 6. What can I do to manipulate the 6? Because I can't add or subtract with unlike denominators.
What do you mean manipulate?
The 6, I need to put it in a different form because I can't add unlike fractions. So, Sarkis?
Turn it into 6/1. So you could.
No, that's not going to help me because there's still unlike denominators. With adding and subtracting, we need a like denominator. McKenna?
Don't you turn it over to 30/5?
30/5. So now I'm making this 30/5. Does that equal 6? Now I can add my 6/5, add 6/5, and we get 30/5 plus 6/5 makes what? So B equals 36/5. I would put that right down here. Well, I don't know if you could see that, but okay, now I've got my B. What do I need to do? What's the next step, Ben?
Oh, I was just going to ask, wouldn't it be 24/5 because it's a negative?
No, because I'm doing the inverse operation. I have to add to both sides to zero this out. So it is adding. When they're the same sign, we add them. It's both negatives, they get added. Adding integers. So, and the sign stays, well, no, that's going to be plus. So now, what am I doing with that? Iman. I plug it into which equation? Huh? 3/x. Close, but you do have to use David.
Put it into the standard form.
Not yet. Luke,
So did you have the y-intercept and the slope, you put it back in the slope-intercept form?
you put it into slope-intercept form. You substitute your slope in. You substitute your b in. And now we have to get it to standard form. So standard form states what? Yes.
A squared plus that one? No.
Ax plus.
Oh, ax plus x plus b. I forgot.
Sydney?
AX plus BY equals C.
Good. Where A, B, and C have to be integers. They are not allowed to be fractions. So, if they can't be fractions, what can I do to this right away to get rid of those fractions? Luke?
Multiply the other side and divide it by 5.
Multiply everything by 5. And I get 5y equals 3x plus 36. And now, I'm almost there in standard form, Rogelio. Yep. And there it is, the equation in standard form. If I don't want to start with a leading negative, I could take the opposite of all terms. It's equivalent. Both of those are yes.
Oh, where did you get 30?
Because 30 divided by 5 is what? 6. So I just converted this to a fraction with a denominator of 5 because I know I was going to have to add with another fraction. So I said 6 over 1. What do I have to do to make this become 5? If I multiply the bottom by 5, I have to multiply the top. It doesn't change its value. William?
I'm kind of confused about that type of problem. I don't really understand.
With y equals mx plus b?
Just like,
Or when you have a fraction with a whole number being added to a fraction. You have to go back to you have to really go back to, well, we got to go. You really got to go back to fraction problems. So when you're here, like, if I have 6 plus 6/5. It's a fraction problem. Turn this into a fraction. When I add fractions, I can't add with unlike denominators. So I can change any fraction as long as I'm only multiplying it by 1. So what do I have to multiply the bottom by to make it have the same denominator? By 5. 5 times 1. If I multiply the denominator, I have to multiply the top because this really just means I'm multiplying it by 1. It doesn't change its value. It just renames it. And so now I've got 30 over 5 plus 6 over 5. It allows me to add it. Does that part make sense? So now when you're here, you're doing the inverse operation of negative 6 over 5. I have to add 6 over 5. I added it to both sides, and it's only showing up here, but I have to add it to the 30 over 5, which was originally a 6. Yes, David?
On the homework, is it only going to ask for these two types of problems?
Nope. Let's go. So, same thing. We're going to do 2/3. Is my slope. I identify my y-intercept as 1. I move that 1. I put a point at the 1 on the y-axis. And then I'm going to rise 2 and run 3. Rise 2, run 3. I can go negative 2, negative 3, negative 2, and I draw the line. On the other one, I'm going to, my slope is negative 3 over 2, and my starting point is positive 4. So I'm going to start at positive 4 on the y-axis, and I'm going to rise negative 3, run positive 2. Rise negative 3, run negative 2. What happened here? Andre? They intersect. And they're not just intersecting. What kind of intersection? Oscar?
They're perpendicular.
They're perpendicular. What do you think in these equations makes them perpendicular? Luke?
The slope being negative, one being positive.
One's negative, one's positive. That's not all. Sydney. Front Sydney.
The slope is the reciprocal of the other one?
It's the reciprocal and it's the opposite, and that's the key. Perpendicular lines are opposite reciprocals. Opposite sign, reciprocal number. Opposite reciprocal slopes. Not just the line, the slope is an opposite reciprocal. Okay? So what would be the opposite of 2/3? Just the opposite. Oscar.
3 over 2. Or negative.
Opposite is sign. Okay, reciprocal would be of just 2/3. Reciprocal this time.
3 over 2.
3 over 2. So the opposite reciprocal, Michelle, would be?
Negative 3 over 2.
Yes. Stop, Rohelia. Opposite of negative 4/5, Oscar.
Is 4/5.
Perfect. Reciprocal, Michael, of negative 4/5. Negative 5 over 4. But the opposite reciprocal would be, Sadat?
5 over 4.
But positive 5 over 4. So the opposite reciprocal of 3 is what? Sarkis.
1 over 3? Oh, negative.
Opposite sign, reciprocal number.
Negative 3.
Negative, opposite sign.
Yeah, negative 3.
Opposite sign of 3 is what?
Yeah, it's negative.
Negative. Reciprocal of 3 is?
1 over 3.
Perfect. So it's negative 1 over 3. You kept saying negative 3.
Oh, I said just
No, I'm just looking at the end part. So now I'm just going, okay, this one's tricky. Let's do this one step at a time. Opposite of 2/10. Paul. Good. Reciprocal of 2/10. Tricky, tricky. McKenna?
5.
Yes. Why? Because look. Here, let me do this. 2/10 really simplifies to 1 over 5. The opposite of that is negative 1 over 5. The reciprocal of that is 5. So the opposite reciprocal of 1/5 or 2/10 is negative 1/5. Oh no, negative 5 over 1, sorry. Negative 5. Yeah. If you have to put it in slope form, it's negative 5 over 1. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So opposite reciprocals. So again, we're going to do the whole thing, the same thing all over again. They want it in standard form. Write the equation. Perpendicular. Need to use this point. So step 1, what do I need to do? Sarkis?
You gotta add x so you can find the, like, you gotta, so you can find the slope.
So we can find the slope. So we're going to add x to both sides. And I get 4y equals x plus 6. Next step, Gabriella.
You have to get y alone.
Right?
You do that all
All terms by 4. Okay, what is the slope here? Just the slope of this problem, Ben. 1/4. M equals 1/4. But what do I need for a perpendicular? Eamon. Negative 4. So I need to find the perpendicular slope. That's the symbol for perpendicular slope. And I got to use that point. So I can either do it in point slope, which is my personal favorite, or slope intercept. William, when I do it in slope intercept, does that confuse you too? Okay. So I think my PowerPoint does it in slope intercept. I prefer point slope. It's easier for me. Less to think about. I can go into robot mode in point slope for me. So I use y equals negative 4. This time I'm using the perpendicular slope. Yes. That means perpendicular. The perpendicular slope is negative 4. So I substitute that in. I substitute the point. And now I have my b. What do I do with that all? What am I doing with the b? Iman. Okay, and what is slope intercept form is y equals mx plus b. So how is it going to read? Nicole?
Y equals negative 4x plus 13.
Plus 13. Am I done? What's the last step? I'm almost there. Nicole?
You have to put it in the standard form.
Okay, so you have to...
You have to add 4x on both sides.
Excellent. And there you have it. Now, I could have chose to do the point slope. Y minus 5 equals negative 4 times x minus 2. Y minus 5 equals negative 4x plus 8. Add 4. Y equals negative, ooh, what happened there? Add 5. Sorry. Y equals negative 4x plus 13. Now I have to get it into standard form. And I get 4x plus y equals 13. Two different methods. Yes?
On a test, is it ever going to ask us specifically to use slope-intercept form?
I don't know. You should always put it into give me the answer in slope-intercept form unless otherwise stated. That should be your default. On your quiz, a lot of people went wrong because they didn't put it into slope-intercept. Another thing they'll say is they'll give you two equations, full equations, and say, are these lines perpendicular? You have to put them into slope-intercept form and check the slopes. Okay? Let me give the quiz back really quick. Shh. Please bring it tomorrow so we can discuss mistakes. Hyper, take it, go next door. Anybody else miss it?
The bell's gonna.
Well, you're going to wait for it. That's what you're going to do. So I'm going to have everybody sit down so these people quickly go.
Which one?
Let's move it this way. Right through here. Okay, I need people to pass out quickly. Please let everybody finish passing them out. I'm so worried about Sarah Simpson.
Yeah.
She's homestead. Homeschool.
Why are you worried? She's doing that. It would be possible.
So bring quizzes tomorrow and make sure you're asking the questions. Go home, retake it yourself, figure out what you're doing wrong. Don't throw it away. Really? Uh-huh.
So, the chapter test is Friday.
Chapter test is Friday. And guys, I hate to say this, I won't be here, so you're going to have to get it done in an hour. So, there's going to be a sub. Oh, look it, I'm recording all of this.